What are the different ways plants are genetically altered? You mentioned Roundup, and describe a little bit more about the process and the reason that the pesticide is put into there, and if you can get into those issues.
Years ago, the scientists from Monsanto found bacteria growing in a chemical waste dump near their factory, surviving in the presence of Roundup herbicide. So they figured, great, let's put it in the food supply. So they took the gene out of the bacterium. They can make millions of copies of that gene, put a start signal so that it operates and an end signal, and then they can put it into a gun and shoot that gun into a plate of millions of cells, hoping that some of the genes make it into the DNA of some of those cells, and they clone the results. Or they find bacteria in the soil called Bt, or Bacillus thuringiensis, which produces its own toxic herbicide, its own toxic insecticide, and they take that gene, make millions of copies, and put it into cells and then grow them into corn plants. The two main traits for genetic engineering are those that drink poison or produce poison. The herbicide-tolerant crops are sprayed with Roundup or Liberty, and they're Roundup Ready or Liberty Link, so they don't die when sprayed with herbicides that would normally kill them, because they're genetically engineered to survive. But they drink the poison and deposit it into the food portion of the plant, which we eat. The other version produces a toxic insecticide which breaks open the stomach of insects to kill them. They justify putting this Bt toxin into our corn because they claim that Bt toxin has a history of safe use in agriculture because its natural component from soil bacteria has been used by farmers and gardeners. They ignore the peer-reviewed published studies showing that hundreds of people had allergic and flu-like symptoms when exposed to Bt, and when it was exposed to mice, they had damaged intestines and immune system responses. They also claim that Bt toxin has no impact on humans or mammals. Well, we know that farm workers, etc., reacted to Bt toxin, but we also now know that when they took the Bt toxin from Monsanto's corn and exposed it to human cells, it poked little pores or holes in those cells, causing leakage. And that's how it kills insects. So it does interact with human cells like it interacts with insect cells. They also claim that the Bt toxin was destroyed during digestion in the stomach, and therefore was not a problem for humans. They found the Bt toxin in the bloodstream of 93% of pregnant women tested and 80% of their unborn fetuses. So we have a toxin which is known to cause allergic and immune reactions in our food supply, possibly poking holes in the walls of our intestines, possibly then getting into our blood supply because of the holes it created, then circulating into the blood of the unborn fetus where the blood-brain barrier is not developed, where it might get into the brain, poking holes in brain cells. So this is a tremendous danger, none of which is being evaluated before the crops get on the market.
What about another type of altering where you can make tomatoes survive in colder climates, things like that? How does that fit into that, and how does that work?
They did create a tomato crossed with a fish gene, fish from an Arctic climate that has an antifreeze protein, so it creates a tomato, or in this case also a strawberry, that doesn't freeze as easily and is not destroyed as much during the frost. Now it turned out to be bitter, and they never commercialized it. The tomato they did commercialize in 1994 was designed not to go bad as quickly, so it stayed on the shelves for a longer period of time. And so it might be losing its nutrients and losing its vitamins, etc., but it still looks red and juicy. So it's kind of a fake-out fruit. Well, that was taken off the market by 1997. The other GM crops, besides the poison drinkers, the herbicide tolerant, and the poison producers, the ones that produce Bt toxin, are zucchini, yellow crookneck squash, and papaya. And they're designed to not be susceptible to certain plant viruses. So they actually put a viral gene into the crops. Now, viral genes produce viral proteins, and more than 100 studies have shown that viral proteins of all types work with the virus by dismantling the protection mechanism against viral infection. So if we're eating papaya that's genetically engineered, or zucchini or crookneck squash, we may get colds more often. or hepatitis or AIDS or any type of virus if this protein is dismantling our defenses against viral infections. Viral proteins can also be directly toxic to cells and linked to things like cancer. None of these are evaluated.